Okay, so we're going to talk today about two stem changing verbs, and we're going to go ahead and look at sentirse first. It's on page 331, so page 331 if you want to look at it in your book, but I have it up here on the screen. So you're going to notice a couple of things about this verb. First, it is a reflexive verb. Now, in Spanish, they use reflexive pronouns quite a bit. Anytime that you are feeling anything yourself or performing any kind of self-care activity, they're all with like bathing and brushing your teeth and all of those things. They also, when we use the verbs about like getting up and going to bed, most of the time you do that yourself. So those would be ones where they would use the reflexive pronouns. We have reflexive pronouns in English. We just tend to use them more for emphasis and not as frequently as they do in Spanish. But you might say something like, I made the cake myself. And that would be an example of the reflexive pronoun. But Spanish uses them much more often than we do in English, even though we do have this. So fairly often you will see a verb and it will say that it's reflexive. And a lot of times it will have this SE hooked onto it. Now, the reflexive pronouns can be two places in a sentence. They can be attached to the infinitive like we see here. So if your verb phrase has an infinitive in it, you can attach it to the infinitive. If you only have a conjugated verb though, it cannot be attached to a conjugated verb. Cannot. In that case, it has to go before the conjugated verb, as you'll see in these examples. I think we've had the reflexive pronoun list before, but I'm going to go over that for you again. So we have me for the yo forms, te for to, you informal, and then él, ella, usted, so he, she, and you would have se. And then for the nosotros, you would have nos. There's your vosotros form. And then for the ellos, ellas, ustedes, you have se again. Notice that the third person ones are the same. They're both just se. Okay. Now, we also have sentir as a stem changing verb. So the E is going to change to an IE except for the nosotros form, which does not stem change. Okay. And then you also have your endings as well. All right, it is an IR verb, okay? So if we have here, yo me siento, that would be I feel. Tú te sientes, you feel informal. Él se siente, ella se siente, usted se siente. So he feels, she feels, you formal feel. Nosotros nos sentimos, so we feel. And then you have the vosotros there. Ellos, ellas, ustedes se sienten. So they feel, you plural feel. Okay. Now, and this would be used to describe like if you are feeling tired or if you are feeling fine, if you are feeling sick. We have those types of expressions in this chapter. Right on this page above in the box it says no me siento bien. So it'd be no, I feel fine. Okay, because that is, again, it is how I myself am feeling. Okay, and so that's where the reflexive comes in because it applies to how I myself are feeling. Okay, there's a question on that page too that says te sientes mal. Do you feel bad? How do you yourself feel? Okay, and it's again referring to the reflexive. Okay, we will be doing an exercise here with this in just a moment. But first we're going to talk about one other verb that's very similar. And that is, oh, it didn't preview the file. All right, hold on. I've got to go get my file.